financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is, what do you need to decide when you're doing an estate plan? Good morning, Brian Small.
Good morning, Ken. A pleasure to be here this morning.
Still hasn't happened. We've been doing the show how many years? How many years, Dave? Too many years. Not once have you just ever responded to Good morning, Brian Small with Good morning, Ken.
That's not true.
Did he once do it?
2 shows ago, because you made that comment.
And he did that?
And then he did it.
Did you? Do you recall that?
I have no independent recollection of anything beyond if I haven't had my coffee, so to speak. Nope, no idea.
Let's just start over. Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is, what do you need to do to decide when doing an estate plan? Good morning, Brian Small.
Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, Jeffrey Linden.
Morning, Ken.
Good morning, Jim Simasco.
Good morning, Ken.
Okay, I am happy as guy can be. What do you need to decide when doing an estate plan? Let's start with first thing. What documents do you need?
Well, an estate plan incorporates 4 major documents: a will, a trust, a durable power of attorney for financial affairs, and a medical power of attorney for medical affairs. And then there's a whole bunch of ancillary additional documents, but those are the basic 4.
All right, so what's the difference between a durable power of attorney and a medical power of attorney? Doesn't a durable power of attorney eliminate the need for a medical power?
No, because they're 2 separate documents. One's for financial decisions or contractual decisions. That's the durable power of attorney. The healthcare power of attorney or patient advocates for medical decisions. You may not want the same person making your medical decisions as the one making your financial decisions.
In fact, that's quite often the case. You have a child that you choose your daughter to make your medical decisions because she's a nurse or a doctor or in the medical field of some sort.
Not the accountant.
And you choose your son, the accountant, exactly, to handle your financial affairs.
Yeah.
Because one is going to make a more, I always use the theory, which of your children regarding medical affairs is going to make the most logical, emotion-free decision and not do what they want, but will follow your wishes. So emotions play a lot of involvement in that medical power of attorney. The durable power of attorney, you just want somebody who's smart with money.
There's also a big difference, I think. In a durable power of attorney, you're not necessarily incapacitated or unconscious or unable to act. You're empowering someone to handle affairs for you.
Well, that is the point.
The patient advocate, the healthcare power, doesn't come into play unless you can't talk.
But
and you can't
you
convey your
make
desires.
a good point. The durable power of attorney, what that means is that it's in effect when you can't act on your own, when you don't have the capacity, when you're not conscious. Because otherwise, if it's not durable, and that's a special form, the authority you've given goes away with your lack of capacity. That's why that's a special document.
That's not necessarily true. A durable power of attorney can be effective immediately, or it can be effective only if you become
Spring, right.
Yeah, but that's springing versus immediate. But the durability part, a power of attorney, your agency is only as good as your capacity, unless that document says makes it a durable power.
So what you're saying is, lock it down, Linden. You're saying that the durable component in word makes it so that it's effective when you lack capacity.
Correct.
But but even though we call it durable power of attorney, more often than not is immediate, and it's empowering the person to act on your behalf when you are conscious.
Let's be a little more general. when you have that durable power of attorney as a component of an estate plan, what it's supposed to do is give your agent, your attorney in fact, the opportunity to act on your behalf for an unlimited or limited set of functions. Most durable powers of attorney relating to an estate plan give somebody the ability to go do your banking, to hire and fire somebody, to make investments,
Spouses empowering
to buy a
spouses.
house, to buy a car, to run a business. Okay?
You don't want to go to the mortgage closing. Your spouse can go for you.
Correct.
You
But you
want
can also
to
have a limited power of
Take
attorney
care of
by
things
example.
for your parents.
Like a lot of times you'll do a limited power of attorney
like a house closing.
when we do debt resolution for our clients, they sign a limited power of attorney that allows us to negotiate on behalf of them
Client.
with the creditors.
But only on the creditors.
But only on the creditors. So, but an estate plan power of attorney is that kitchen sink concept. You want to give somebody basically the authority to make every decision that you can make legally, right? So, and then it's a question of whether or not it's an immediate power of attorney or a springing power of attorney. But the function of the power of attorney itself is to allow someone to do what you can do.
All right, so the other two documents, we got a trust and a pour over will. What are those are both dealing with what happens to your assets?
Wills are great for three things. One, if you have minor children,
Guardian.
and you die, who gets guardianship, and that's very, very important. One, embedded in them now are funeral representative acts, who makes all your funeral decisions. And three, where do your assets go when you die that don't otherwise automatically pass by operation of law? If you have a trust, your will gives your assets to the trust, and then the trust distributes them to your beneficiaries.
And the trust avoids probate if the assets are funded in the trust before you die.
Correct, and or funded after you die. But yes, it avoids probate, and you can control the assets from the grave. You can control how they're distributed, when they're distributed. They're great, great documents.
So I can be in the grave, 6 feet under, with a little phone that I push buttons on, controlling what happens.
Yeah, good luck with that. You know, if
Do you get reception 6 feet under?
if you manage
Well,
to
if
figure
you
out how
do
to
that-
do
Do you have
that,
Wi-Fi in the area?
You have about 4.5 minutes.
Oh, initially.
Yeah.
That's if they put you in there alive.
Yes.
Is it 4.5?
Well, that's how much time you.
All right, let's
That's how long
take a
does that hold
break.
your breath?
Yeah.
When we come back after the break, I want to talk about key people.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
For almost 60 years, Samasco Law has been the trusted source for helping families navigate the uncertain world of estate planning and elder law. And now, our firm is growing even stronger with the addition of attorneys Joe Frazard and Kelsey Samasco. 2 more lawyers to make sure your family is protected now and into the future. Call Samasco Law today for a free consultation. Our hardworking team is standing by to provide you peace of mind. Samasco Law. Protect what matters.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress.
Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
All right, before we go to key people, you said at the break you want to talk about trust.
Yeah, well, a lot of people call me and they say, why do I even need a trust? And the answer is kind of simple. If you only have a will, then there's a judge, guy, gal with a black nightgown and a hammer in their hand, that has to probate the estate. And probate is expensive and really time consuming.
Inconvenient more than anything. I
Right.
would say.
Plus, it's public. Anyone can go look.
Right. And so the combination is if you want to make sure your kids get their money from your estate quickly, instead of waiting anywhere from 12 to 24 months, depending on the local county that you're in, for a simple probate, do a trust. And here's the I don't want to spend the money. Well, it costs the same amount of money. You do an estate plan with a will and the powers of attorney, or you do an estate plan with a will and a trust.
Right.
It costs the same thing.
Doesn't take us any more time to do the estate
Well,
plan.
the difference is
And
if you
it's-
only do a will, you have a 20 to 30 page will. If you do a will and a trust, you have a 20 to 30 page trust and a 4-page will.
Yeah.
No, the other
It's-
thing is if you have to go to probate, it costs much more than a trust would
Way
be
more.
anyways.
Oh, way more.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
the other one, before we go to key people, the other mistake people make, even if you do the trust, you need to title your property correctly. I would say the most common problem we see probate-wise is real estate that ended up, it wasn't in a trust, and it's lingering out there in an estate, and it's now two generations later, and someone wants to sell that property, and you have to then open a probate estate going way back, and it becomes way more cumbersome.
Yeah, you open up a
more
probate estate for
expensive,
grandma. You
more
open up a
timing.
probate estate for grandpa. You got to open up a probate
Yeah.
estate for mom.
So you need
And
to take care of those things.
it
Now let's
becomes a
talk about
giant
key
mess.
people.
Yeah.
So who's the key person in a durable power of attorney?
It's got to be someone you can trust because they could take advantage of you.
Because they call that person the attorney in fact,
That is correct.
and they're effectively in fact your attorney. They are you.
Yeah.
You're empowering them on a non-springing, on an immediate durable power to do anything you can do.
Right. They're your agent.
They can
for
go to the
everything you can
bank
do.
and take out all the money.
So giving
They
you
have to act in your best interest.
right. They have a
But
fiduciary
sometimes
duty,
they
but
don't.
when the money is gone, the money is gone.
If they go to your bank account, empty it out, go to the casino, and lose it all, you don't get to sue the casino to get the money back. You can sue them,
Right.
but they don't have the money because it's gone to the casino.
So let's
you
talk
gotta be
about
careful.
who the typical person that you choose would be, and then we can talk about problems with that.
Well, name all the people though first.
So-
Healthcare power. Who's that?
That's your
Spouse.
patient
Usually
advocate.
spouse,
Patient advocate is the person.
Right.
Spouse is
spouse,
or child.
Spouse or
and then
child.
adult children.
Trust. You have a successor trustee.
Typically, in most cases, it's a trusted child.
Okay.
If-
The successor trustee is probably is most important, similar to the attorney in fact on a durable power. Often the times the same person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then what about the will? You got a personal representative
Yes.
Usually you
and
get the same person.
and guardians. Who's going to take care of your minor children?
Right.
Right.
Okay. So how do you decide who's the right person?
Again,
Who's the wrong person?
It's someone who gambles, a drug addict, alcoholic, irresponsible, someone who can't even balance their own checkbook is definitely the wrong person.
Wait.
Who
You
still
just-
balances their
You
checkbook?
just eliminated everyone
Everybody.
from a millennial younger. They don't even know what a checkbook is.
Yep. That's no. You want to choose the most responsible.
Which to me is amazing, but they don't even think about it.
You want to choose
reconciling
the
a
most
checkbook.
responsible people in your life to assist you. And normally, it's usually the husband for the wife and the wife for the husband, and then the most responsible child. And it's the problem that exists is if your children are irresponsible. Now, who do you choose? Well, I'm going to choose my brother, but my brother's only 2 years younger than me. So now when I'm 90, he's 88. That doesn't bode well for dealing with the estate upon your death.
Your brother always says, if there's 4 children, one of them is a problem.
Gotta play the odds.
Yeah.
But again, choosing
So
the
moral
most
of that story
responsible
is
party.
never have more
Never
than 3 children. Right.
Stop at 3.
But then the problem is there's other problems. Like, what if you don't have anybody in your family, in your life? There is
That's
no
a good
family.
question.
You
Yeah.
can choose your best friend. You can choose, your niece's cousin's uncle. It's you just are looking for somebody to assist you, who is responsible.
You need someone trusted. It could be a close friend. It could be your CPA. It can be your lawyer. I've assumed that role for a couple clients. I don't do it
On a
that
regular
often.
basis, right.
'Cause, well, first of all, if it's your lawyer, and your lawyer is 50, that's fine. But if he's getting a little bit older, and you're appointing him and you're older, you don't want it to be your lawyer or your CPA if at the time you need them they're retired.
Right.
The other thing is they could be quite expensive too. Typically they do it absolutely rightly, the correct way, but it could be very expensive if you have a professional or a bank.
A relative and a close friend. In fact, that's also an issue in the documents. Do you put in the documents that your agent or your trustee should be reasonably compensated, or do you put that they should only be reimbursed for expenses? When I typically do, when it's a close friend or a relative or a daughter, I put reasonable expenses only, no compensation, because they're beneficiaries under the trust anyway. Mm-hmm. But you're not going to be able to hire your accountant and your lawyer and put down you only get reimbursed for expenses.
It depends what they're doing. If I'm your power of attorney and I have to run your Taco Bells, I should get paid a reasonable fee.
Is it because it's Taco Bell as opposed to
Burger King or
Wendy's or something?
So the more work, if it's 40 hours a week, they should get paid.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, so next topic. Who gets what and when? We'll take that up when we come back from the break.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. I want to announce THAV GROSS has opened a new office downriver in the Horizon building on Eureka Road. So now we're in Flint, downriver, and also our home office in Bingham Farms. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. You can do it by Zoom conference, in the office, any way that works best for you. Just call 888-235-HELP or go to the website, thavgross.com, to sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat or Kelsey, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. Again, sign up at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or just call 888-235-HELP. Also, if you go to the website, you'll see there's free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by Jeff Linden and myself. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security by Pat Simasko. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV Gross, Simasko Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Okay, Lisa, we have one last question for you. How old should your grandkids be before they can take the money and spend it on their own?
Thanks, Grandma. Thanks, and I'm getting mine next week.
35. You've worked hard your whole life to create a lasting legacy for your heirs. Let Simasko Law help you make the right decisions to protect the ones you love. Simasko Law, protecting what means most, because that's what we do.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
All right, we're back. So we talked about the documents. We talked about the people. Now, what else do you have to decide? Who gets what
And when?
and when?
And who doesn't get what? That also could be decided in a trust.
So I would say the most common first thing that you're thinking about with a married couple is what do you provide for the spouse when one spouse dies? Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
It's a very tough question, but more difficult than you would expect in a lot of situations. Like, what if the spouse is disabled? What if the spouse is in a nursing home? If you give them money, it could be just, gone to the state and have no benefit to your heirs.
So you got to be cautious on there. I think the
Well,
general.
I was going to say, start off with the typical distribution of assets, which if it's a first marriage and they've
or
got
the older
kids.
marriage.
Yes, and usually what happens is everything goes to the surviving spouse, and then upon the death of the second of you, everything goes to the children. If the children are minors, you might control when they get the money. If the children are adults, you still might control when they get the money, or if they get the money.
Or you might provide something for the grandchildren.
You might also, right. But a typical distribution would be surviving spouse, then surviving children, and later issue. If the issues that come up where there's a lot of thought that goes into it is, what if it's a second marriage? What if she's got kids and he doesn't? What if he's got kids and he hasn't talked to them in the last 10 years?
As soon as you have a second
Or if
marriage.
they both have kids
from different
Right.
marriages.
previous
Or they have
relationships.
kids from the same marriage and kids from a previous relationship. Then you have a much more complicated scenario.
But you
I-
have the ability to address all of that in a trust.
I see another one that comes up often is the client wants to make special disposition as to their home, or sometimes it's to the vacation home. And the one that I find to be one of the complicated ones is the very nice vacation home. And there's 4 siblings. And everybody's been using the home as a family gathering point in the summers, and it's always been a cherished event to mom and dad. So they want to leave the summer home to all of the children, and they want everyone to share and use it so that that event that's occurring, that family gathering, continues after they're gone.
Right, but who's going to pay the taxes? Who's going to pay the upkeep? Who's going to pay the
And
insurance?
who's going to make sure that the kids, when mom and dad are no longer around, like each other?
And
Or
what if
worse, what happens when the grandkids want to come use it?
Yes.
And
what happens when the kids are married and their spouses all hate each other?
yeah.
Or one uses it and one doesn't use it. You know, should the one who doesn't use it contribute to the expenses?
So it's a big issue. Sometimes I actually move the house into an LLC,
Yeah.
and then have the management of the LLC run by the kids as owners. But it's a complicated issue. That's one where you need to have a lot of thought. And you also have the one where one child's living in the house with mom and dad. The other children are out on their own, and mom and dad want to provide that the child can continue to live in the marital home for the rest of their life, and then it gets sold and divided up maybe among the siblings, or it gets sold and the proceeds are used for that child to buy another home. A lot of complicated issues.
That's where the trust comes in, because you can literally control the assets from the grave and put restrictions or guidelines on how to handle those type of assets.
It is absolutely essential when you have property that you want to maintain for future generations, rather than just saying, upon my death, the death of the second of us, the house shall be sold and the proceeds shall be divided equally.
Another one for you. Women, jewelry, daughters. I have two daughters. There's always chatter about, well, who's going to get what of mom's jewelry? And then what about grandma's jewelry? How come I got that and she got that? And how do you handle those things? Dads care about their watches, their sports memorabilia. Do we keep changing the will?
Well,
My father, who'd been an attorney since '55, would say, give it away while you're alive, so you know who gets it and you see how they treat it.
Or
yeah.
at the very least, in the trust,
So cause the fight while you're living.
specifically enumerate what you're giving to who. Don't leave it to the children to figure it out later,
Write
because
it down.
it will create
a
fights.
fight.
Write
Another
it down.
special problem is if somebody is a sportsman or they have like rifles and guns and shotguns and things. Those are special items. The people who inherit those have to be lawfully able to possess them, and in certain cases there are extra federal regulations and certificates that have to be obtained. So there are special trusts for that.
For guns, for rifles. What's
For
it called?
certain-
Gun
A gun trust.
Well, there's an NFA trust. It depends. I mean, there's certain, without getting into the weeds, there's certain items that are controlled by special federal laws that are different than just regular handguns or rifles or shotguns.
The machine gun.
Well,
Yeah, you got to be very careful.
And
with
the
machine
grenade.
gun.
or even a
And
rifle
the
that has a
suppressor.
shorter barrel or a suppressor or something like that.
On that note, have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.